My dear friends, my dear masters and my dear gods, it gives me a great pleasure to be addressing you and to narrate to you some elements of my own life and how the often repeated saying that a talk to one person can change your life forever, and that happened in my own life. I am S.K. Rajan. I am connected to this Pyramid Spiritual Studies movement from the year 1998. To be precise, from 5th of July 1998. 5th of July happens to be a Guru Purnima day. That is the day we respect the Guru, we pay obeisance to the Guru, and we thank the Guru for all that he has done to us and for making our life wonderful. So it was on such a day that my life took a turn for the better. In fact, as a young student, I used to have a passion, and that passion was reading books. I do not know why, but somehow philosophical books and religious books had a great attraction to me. Initially, I read the books of Swami Vivekananda, and there was a book by the name Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. It was a fat book, almost about 1,500 pages, but it had hundreds of incidents in the life of the great Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, who was the guru to Swami Vivekananda. And all this really influenced me. There is also one more thing which influenced me a lot, that is the Bhagavad Gita. Because when we were staying in Bombay, we had an opportunity, I would say a lot of opportunities to attend classes or listen to people who are religious minded, who have more knowledge about us, about life and the purpose of lives, and how we can become better citizens of this cosmos. Although I was hardly 12 years old, but I used to attend the classes of Swami Chinmayananda ji, when he used to give his long discourses on the Bhagavad Gita. I loved Swamiji for two reasons. One, he was so very clear in what he said, and his English was unparalleled. I would say he had a total good command of English, and his proficiency was, I could rate it as excellent. These two things really convinced me, and the contents, no doubt, were always good. He went out of the way to explain every sloka, every stanza of the Bhagavad Gita, about how Bhagavad Gita can be a moral, it can lead us into better lives if we follow every part of it, every advice of the great Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, and especially his personal messages to Arjuna before the war was about to start. So these are all things which really influenced me in reading such books. Gradually, as I became older, I started reading books of Deepak Chopra and many life coaches like Dale Carnegie and so many others. But my search had been there for a real guru with whom I can have probably a one-to-one conversation and also try to understand how we can live in a better way by following certain principles or certain codes of conduct. In this search, I went around. I even visited many godmen and had interactions with them. But that point of satisfaction, a soul satisfaction, was still to be achieved. In the year 1998, it was my wife, my life partner, who initiated and suggested that we attend a one-day program in the Mysore Palace Auditorium. I was then serving as a senior executive in the central bank of the country, that is the Reserve Bank of India, and NABARD, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. I was stationed at Mysore, and my partner told me, her name is Girija Rajan, she is also a popular meditator now and an active participant and propagator of meditation in Tamil, Kannada and English. So she told me that through her colleague, she came to know that some great godman or some great yogi is visiting Mysore on that day, on 5th July. And so, that being a Sunday and a holiday too, it would be nice if I could accompany her to the program along with my 2 daughters. But I somehow was not very much willing to go. The reason being that I had attended spiritual lectures or religious lectures of quite a number of persons, but that longing to get the innate knowledge and innate purpose of life still remained unsatisfied. And I was not too optimistic about spending my whole Sunday, a weekend holiday, in a program there, which may or may not be interesting for me. But after great persuasion by my family members, I agreed to come to the venue on condition that if the program happens to be interesting, I will prefer to stay and continue till the program is completed or ended. But if the program is not so interesting, they should give me the liberty to leave as and when I want. On these conditions, I went there. On reaching the venue, the auditorium, the Jagan Mohana Palace Auditorium, I was surprised to find a yogi in white and white, traditional Indian kurta pajama dress, sitting in a chair, accompanied by 2 other persons, one of whom was the secretary and another person was a person of considerable repute in Mysore, and he was the Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, whom I knew personally too. That gave me a sort of confidence that I should sit there, because that gentleman whom I regarded with very greatly as a person who should be followed, a person from whom we can take lessons. So I was very sure that he would not go in for a program which is really not deserving his time and his inclination. So I decided to sit on there and watch the program. That was when I heard this yogi, bearded yogi, speaking, and he was saying, there is one thing that we should never forget, that is, we create our own realities, and which means that everything that happens, it may be good, it may be bad, but for everything that happens, whatever be the quality, it is we, that individual who has to take the responsibility for the good or bad of whatever happens to him in life. And this is what I precisely wanted, because I found wherever I had gone earlier in all those religious and other programs, that invariably they used to say, after the course is over or after the program was over, they could be contacted on such and such address or such and such number, and they could register and have sessions. It may be physical or it may be online, and these sessions, and they could be permanent members of the society, of their society, of which they were the founders. But here was one individual. He just gave only the explanations to how to make yourself a better citizen, a better human being rather. So after some time, he said, or he instructed the audience to close the eyes and sit for meditation. And that was the time I had my first experience in doing meditation. We were asked to close our eyes, clasp our hands, and sit there. And we sat that way for almost 40 minutes. Time passed away without any knowledge of how it really happened. When we were asked to open our eyes, I realized that I have sat for as long as 40 minutes. And it appeared to me as if it was just 10 minutes. And this sitting took place in the midst of the mellifluous flute that he played. It was wonderful. I had gone into a state of emptiness with no thought whatsoever. And I saw I was going into a tunnel, and at the end of the tunnel was the statue of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. So as I sat and as I was discussing it with my wife and two daughters, I found that my experience was too small in their midst, because they both had, my wife and two daughters, I mean 3 of them, they had wonderful experiences. So we were just waiting along for our tea to come when we found this bearded Guruji coming towards us after meeting and shaking hands and getting introduced to a lot of people there. He came to me directly and asked, "Swamiji, what was your experience? How did you find the whole session?" I said, "Sir, it was great, it is wonderful. And I would like to add that it is my first experience at meditation. I have never been bold enough to attempt it, because I thought it is only for the most pious and devout people. But here is one man who says anyone can do it, anyone who breathes can do it." Then he told me, "So you feel wonderful? He asked me, "You feel wonderful? You feel happy that you have attended this program?" I said, "Of course." And then I added, and that was where I made a mistake. I added, "But sir, I feel I should have taken it up long back, because at that time I was almost around 45 years. I should have taken it up when I was at least 20 years old, when I could have made a great impact. This meditation could have had a great impact on my life, the quality of my life, and the future too." Then our Guruji immediately responded, "But Mr. Rajan, let me tell you one golden truth, and that is, every regret is a fresh blunder. So there is no time for regrets, there is no reason for regrets. So you have come at the right time, and you have taken the course at the right time. And from now on, you can be aligned to this and get more and more benefits out of it." That is how I got the first lesson in not facing regrets and not having regrets. From then on, my spiritual journey started, and certain things that really inspired me and inspired me to continue this line was continue this particular program or continue this particular method of meditation was the greatness of the Guru. Because normally we say when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and that is what really happened. I was waiting to get a Guru. I was an aspiring student. So merely being a student will not do. You have to be an aspiring student, looking out for avenues, looking out for places, looking out for opportunities to get into contacts with people who really matter, who really know what they state and what they do. And they preach what they practice, and they practice what they preach. So I was lucky to meet and have an interaction with this great yogi. And because I was convinced for sure that he is one person who believes that there is no need to follow at the feet of anyone. In the course of the session on meditation, Guruji had explained how meditation has to be done and why it has to be done. He said when meditation is taken up as a regular activity or as a regular feature in our day-to-day lifestyle, then we tend to become more sober, we become calm, we can withstand anything that comes to us in the course of our lives, and we can manage any crisis. Secondly, he said that for students it's very good because their memory power will increase, and there you will be more focused on what you want to do, and you will be very correct in whatever you say. Your words will be okay, your actions will be okay, your thoughts will be okay. Face is the index of the mind, words are the index of the soul. Your words will be the best which come out of your mouth, and you will gather more and more friends, and you will be wanted everywhere. Your charisma will improve like anything, and you yourself will be surprised at the number of people wanting to speak to you and wanting to get your company. Then he spoke about vegetarianism. I was simply astonished, pleasantly astonished, that here is one person who speaks of vegetarianism, whereas I have gone to scores of religious leaders and yogis, but no one dared to speak that food of animals should not be eaten, that animals should not be eaten and made their food. And there was no one who stressed on plant-based foods. But here was one yogi who said that we have no right to take the lives of animals, birds, reptiles, or aquatic creatures, etc. Because as it is, we have plant-based foods which is needed for human beings, and the human physical anatomy is not suited to eating non-vegetarian food. This thought of his and these words of his really impressed me a lot, because he was speaking with all the conviction that any person could have, a person of his standing could have. And next he spoke of pyramid energy and how pyramids are built, and if we sit under pyramids, we'll be able to get 3 times more benefit than if meditation is done in the open. So all these 3 convinced me. From then on, I've been following all this. For the last 22 years, we have been immensely benefited. Not only me, but all the members of my family are very much attached to the Pyramid Spiritual Society's movement. And Patriji has been so very beneficial, so very liberal in interesting duties. In fact, my capacity to speak in public really got a boost after I came into this movement, because although I was officially conducting meetings, it gave me an additional boost to speak extempore, and that is very important. If you have to get more and more students, more and more people to understand meditation and do meditation. I have not had any of the astral experiences which many meditators have, but I have a reason, because I have already asked Patriji about it, as to why my wife gets lots of lots of experiences, meditational experiences, but I never have any, or very rare it is. But at times when I have, they are really powerful and they are very good experiences too. At that time, almost about when I was in Mysore, 2 months later when I did a meditation one fine day, I saw in my own photo, that is my own replica, sitting along with the Chief Minister of the state, Mr. S.M. Krishna. I was wondering what is the connection, although we have official links with the government and the leaders in the government and the Chief Minister and people in their responsible positions. I was wondering how this could happen. But within a month or so, the person in charge of the district, the district collector, requested me to be present at a meeting where the Chief Minister was expected to be the chief guest, and it happened too. So, in no time, my name was flashed throughout the newspapers and the TV, and I was seen congratulating the Chief Minister on his government's achievement in Mysore, and I got a booklet of my bank, the NABARD, the annual credit plan, released by this great VIP, and I felt very happy that my meditation showed me, it was a premonition, it was an intuition rather, that I will be meeting the Chief Minister. And such things do happen, which I understood from other masters, and when I spoke to Patriji, he was thrilled to know that I had such a great experience. But I also gathered one other information, that everyone will not be having third eye experiences, because there are two types of meditators. One is dreamers and one is talkers. So friends, my clarification I sought from Patriji to find out why I am the less lucky insofar as meditational experience is concerned as compared to my wife, because she was getting a lot of experiences every other day, including clairaudience, that is receiving messages from the masters, etc. Whereas for me, it was just total deep silence. Then he gave me the right explanation, which is also, I got it confirmed through books from Carlos Castaneda, which says that if you are a dreamer, you will be getting a lot of experiences. But if you are a stalker, to which category I belonged, stalker is a person who will be able to organize programs, organize events, and do a lot of work for the Sangha or for the society. And that is precisely what I was meant for. Believe it or not, in the last 22 years, I can say up to 20 years rather, because after that we stopped taking count. We have conducted over 20,000 meditation programs, and all that was due to the effort which I had taken along with my wife and 2 children. So all this could be done because I was a stalker. And so friends, take up meditation seriously and see how your life gets very neatly assembled and in the best way possible. And all that you have got to do is remember the quotation, "Seek ye the kingdom of God and His righteousness first." This is the quotation of Jesus Christ. Seek ye the kingdom of God and His righteousness first, and all else will be added unto you. So all that you have to do is be righteous in your conduct, righteous in your actions, in your thoughts, etc. Take up meditation and take it as a regular menu in your day-to-day lifestyle, and do it religiously, do it continuously, do it regularly, and you will reap the benefits of meditation and be a better citizen of this great cosmos. And I should place all the gratitude to Brahmarshi Subhash Patriji, who has been tirelessly working for the last 40 years to see that we have Dhyana Jagat, that means a universe which is fully devoted to devotion, and a Shakahari Jagat. Shakahari means vegetarian, and a vegetarian world. That is what he is aspiring for, and that we are going to really have it very shortly. Friends, I assure you that you will be benefited as soon as you take up to meditation and do it regularly and teach everyone. Each one teach one should be our motto. Thank you once again, friends, for giving me a patient hearing. Thank you, and thank you.